Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Forman.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to the Tony Forman Show. We're recording here out of Charlotte, North Carolina. We have Tony Forman, the host of this show, and I want to thank everyone for joining us who watch us on Facebook, but also on YouTube, and those who listen to us on your favorite audio podcast platform. So, Tony, welcome back. This is your fourth show. When people watch this, it will be February 26th. We've already gone through 2 months. Lots been going on, huh? How about you? What's been going on the last couple of weeks?
Well, there's a lot has been going on. One of the things is at 70 years old, I come to discover
70. Oh, you don't even look 40.
I know. People still think I'm 35. You know.
Okay, go with that.
And the thing is that a lot of us look good even at 70. But our body tells us different. And sometimes to find that equilibrium between the two is kind of hard because your mind is telling you something, your body is telling you something different. But your attitude most of the time doesn't change. Now, you go through certain things, and that comes with just getting older, acquiring more wisdom. So you become more decisive in your decisions and in the way that you think because of your past trials and tribulations.
Sure.
And you're more sure of who you are, where you're at the immediate moment. And I think a lot of people don't even look at life that way. And you got to roll with the punches, man.
I hear you.
You know, the way that our government is moving right now is very disturbing. There's some people that look like me and they don't understand the implications of what this administration is doing, especially as they adhere to the mandate of Project 2025. And there are people that they just don't understand that this whole administration don't look, and it's not representative of people that look like me. It's just not.
Yeah.
The cuts that are going on, which we'll discuss a little later. The way that it works is not a direct attack, but it's implicit. In other words,
Exactly.
If you really do the research, you know who it's working against. What am I talking about? The education department. Some people don't understand what is it that's going down. I was watching MSNBC, the lady that's taking over the Board of Education. They asked her a question. I forget her name. They asked her a question about.
Yeah, McMahon, I think is her name. Yeah, she.
And they asked a specific question about teaching. You have white kids that are enrolled in African American studies. And she couldn't answer the question. Did she think that there was something wrong with that?
Yeah.
And did she approve of it? And she had a hard time answering it, you know, and I don't want to sound like people on the news, but people on the other side that are part of what's going on. It's, the way they speak is not concrete. They're very evasive.
And they do that purposely.
Yes. And it's because what did they say? Well, somebody said, if you want to keep something away from Black people, put it in a book. But now it's not. You don't even have to put it in a book.
Sure.
You have so many Blacks that have bought into this white supremacist agenda,
Sure.
and they don't understand what it means because they don't do enough research. That you got people that still don't understand what Project 2025 is.
Yeah.
And this administration is following the mandates of Project 2025 by the letter.
Yeah.
By point.
That's an excellent point, Tony. And I want to ask you about this because I know there's in the other segments we want to talk about Ukraine. I know you have some thoughts about that, but also all the cuts that are going on at the federal level that Elon Musk group is doing. But before we do that, and you hit on an excellent point, and I know we all know and that all politics is local, and it starts from local level and it goes out and it just kind of expands. So, but here at the local level, and you and I both live in Charlotte, North Carolina, in Mecklenburg County, and there's some things going on here in this county. As every 2 years, all political parties elect new chair people and precinct chairs and so forth as it moves forward. And you have an excellent point. Mecklenburg County is the South, but it acts like, but it's very diverse. And so I know that there is going to be an upcoming election, precinct chairs, and then county executive committee and then state executive committee. But the most important thing is going to be the county chairperson. There's some rumbling going on here in Mecklenburg County that you and I are fully aware of. But there's a lot of, and you hit on it as far as there's a lot of people of color who just seem to be okay with being marginalized.
Yes.
And I don't mean to sound mean, but the reality is they have come to the point in their lives where they're like, at least I know this. It's almost like change to them or sharing their opinion. They don't want to cause any waves because they figured out how to work within whatever it is, even though working within what it is keeping them down. And so I don't know if you have any thoughts on that about Mecklenburg County and what's going on here in this county.
Yeah, it's even more dangerous than that.
Okay.
And when I say more dangerous than that, I look at the complacency that I often speak about. And I know you since I came to Charlotte.
Sure. And
my politics, and I always say it, I was with my former boss on Saturday all day, and we did a lot of talking. And I expressed to him some of the concerns that that I have about how our government, our county government works. I won't speak about the GA, the General Assembly, because that's on another level.
Sure.
But we're talking about the more local elected officials. And I personally, I'm going to speak up and I'm going to speak out. Whoever don't like it, prove me wrong. It's that simple.
Sure.
Because a lot of us, people that look like me, are scared to speak up. And in private, I'm not scared to, you're full of shit. You're scared to speak up. Some don't like the way I speak, but again, if I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Now, what am I talking about? So now the chair currently is Drew Cromer, and he has been...
you're talking about the chair of the Mecklenburg County Democratic Party here in North Carolina. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Chair Drew Cromer of the North Carolina Democratic Party has been accused, not just by blacks, but by some white people, of, to put it plainly, racism.
Okay.
The way he deals with certain women. You have some blacks that are part of the executive committee for the Mecklenburg Democratic Party, and they don't have a problem, and they support Drew. and they know what's going on. There's some that I personally don't trust. I won't put it on air here, but I personally don't trust. They look like me, but like Kendrick Lamar, they're not like us.
Sure.
Simply put, you understand? And very apropos for this conversation. And they look like us, but they're not like us. To be a part of something that doesn't respect who you are as a person, as a culture, as a race, it's problematic.
Sure.
And if you don't recognize it, you got a problem. Malcolm X, and I always quote this, said that you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. If you're not part of the solution, then you are the problem. So how do you get people that are committed to a party to be unified when a certain part of that party is not recognized adequately?
Sure.
The claims of elected officials not being supported properly by the Mecklenburg County Democratic Party, monies that have been raised, and there's a question about the amount of money that Mr. Crowan has raised. There's no accountability for some of the expenditure and stuff like that. That causes dissection.
Sure.
People start to take a step back and don't really want to get involved because there's dissension amongst the party.
Sure.
And at a time like this, we don't need that.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. And I personally wrote a letter to Mr. Cromer about the fact that Latinos have I know what's this gentleman's name? Hector. Him and his wife. His wife passed away. They've been here for years, and they were the head of the Hispanic American.
Yep. I know who you're talking about. The older couple that have been around for a long time. Yes. I apologize. I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. The name will come. But the thing is, they were here for years. Now, I personally believe, this is my personal thing.
Sure.
That they were part of that Hispanic group that to them they weren't melanated, they weren't black, they weren't. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm trying
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Okay.
Which yes.
They're part of that group.
Sure.
Like the Cubans in Florida.
Yes, exactly.
And how are you with the Democratic Party? You are Latino, Hispanic, and all the Latinos and Hispanics from the diaspora were part of this group.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
And here it is. After 19 years, we don't have in Mecklenburg Latino representation.
Yeah.
Not just in the GA, the county, the city council. So what you been doing all this time? And most everybody that I see when I first came here that was part of this group were mostly not lily white, but you could tell from the way people talk.
Yeah.
What side they're on.
Sure.
You understand? It's like the Black Political Caucus that says that Latino. If you when I first came here and I was trying to get Latinos to join the Black Political Caucus, I found out that a specific elected official went around with their fist up in the air that their district is the most powerful district in the world. But in the same in the same time,
yes,
viewing that we're not going to work with Latinos because Latinos don't work with us. Sure. That's problematic.
Exactly.
When there's a presidential election, it's the black and Latinos, and now Latinos and blacks,
whose
vote they seek.
Yeah.
So as an elected official, that's antiquated, man.
Yeah.
Why are you still spewing that? Aren't you a unificator
Hmm.
as opposed to a separator?
Yes.
And these are things that in Mecklenburg County we still have to deal with.
Sure. I know exactly what you're saying. Those who are watching us and listening to us who don't live in Mecklenburg County probably don't have an idea of what we're talking about. But I'm very similar to you, where you and I have I say the luxury of
Yes.
having lived in another region of this country or another area of this country and found a wonderful home here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Those of us which are probably about 70% of the people who live in Charlotte, aren't from Charlotte. We bring a lot of experience and wealth, knowledge, and testing to this wonderful region. But there are people who are from this region who are who still operate as if though there aren't answers. And so, to your point, talking about the things that you have brought up and so forth, one of the best elected officials that I know of, and I'll say his name, Mark Jarrell, probably one of the smartest, one of the most political savvy, but not only that, but just a really good guy, is not from Charlotte.
He's from New York.
And
He's from
yeah. So this city is thriving not because of the people who live in Charlotte, the ones that we see at the Mecklenburg County events who say, well, I was born here, I was raised here. That's wonderful. But the only reason this city has grown is because people like us, you and me, have moved here. We brought our wealth and our experience and our knowledge. And it's not always been embraced in the political arenas. And,
Yes.
And exactly to your point, it is, and then we're going to kind of take our first commercial. It is so upsetting that the person that represents the majority of Charlotte is Congressperson Alma Adams. And Congressperson Alma Adams is always having a hard time raising money. But when you have a white person like Dan McCready or anyone else who decides to run in the south part of Charlotte, who represents a little bit, raises millions and millions of dollars. So it is so outrageous that when there's a person of color running, it is hard for that person to raise money in this city. But yet, when there are white candidates, the white women that ran in my area this last election raised a lot of money, had a lot of support. And these races are important. It's important that we kind of flip some of these areas. But that does not mean that you have to forget your base and the rest of Mecklenburg County and Charlotte. So hopefully, whoever the new county commission, chairperson is, understands that you can't operate like it's got to be a new kind of thinking. And the last thing I want to say, because I know this is your show. Sorry, Tony. Yeah, the last thing I want to say is, whoever the new chairperson is,
for the county,
yes, of the county. When that
from TDP.
Well, yes, of the Mecklenburg County, when the elections come up, I hope what people demand of them is, I don't expect the chairperson to be perfect. What I do expect a chairperson to be is someone who, when someone has a concern, whether it's the African American caucus, whether it's whoever it is, that you take the time to listen to them, that yes. you give them the respect. We're all volunteers. None of us are being paid. Why would you not want input from volunteers? And so, that is, now there are some paid people, I think, at the Mecklenburg County now.
Percentage.
Yeah, yes. But when those of us who are trying to volunteer our time, take the time. One of the things I was a little bit upset about Wesley Harris announcing, he was a former representative, right, of my area, a little bit further out there. When he announced, he made this big announcement. I don't remember any calls or any meetings from the Latino or the African American or Black community from him saying, hey, I'm thinking about running. Tell me what you think. There was no, it's this attitude like, I've announced to run, and then I will listen to what you have to say about that. You should be doing your homework before you decide to run for county. So anyway, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that before we take our first break?
Yeah. One, it's not surprisingly enough, but you touch on something that a lot of people don't know. Most of the people in the county commissioners are not from Charlotte.
Sure.
Most of the city council people are not from Charlotte.
Exactly.
Most of the people that are building downtown, all that construction, are not from Charlotte.
Exactly.
You have a councilman that has a construction company. They're not constructing down there. From what I understand, our mayor's family built, I believe it's like 77. I don't think it's 85. No black people there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And our thing is that I believe, I'm going to keep it in the eye. I believe, coming from a major city, that we don't fight hard enough to be included.
Yes.
In New York, if you're going to come, we have something called the community board. The community board has a committee called the land use committee. That land use committee, I don't give a damn if you own the land. As they say here, well, they own the land, it's their land, so there's nothing that we can do about it. No, it's the infrastructure is not there for you to tell them, no, if you want to build here, this is what you got to do. This, and that. And one of the things is that you got to put people from that community to work.
Yeah.
There are no demands.
Yeah.
The NWBE, when I came here and I didn't see it working the way it worked in New York, I was like, well, what happened to the NWBE, and what? We can't enforce it.
Sure.
And when they were trying to get it so that it could be enforced, from what I understand, now don't quote me on this, this is what I was told. Malcolm shut it down when I believe he was city council or senator.
Yeah.
He shut it down. And the thing is that when people, and that's why this show is so important. You understand? Thanks to you, my producer, we could do this because people get on the show and they want to talk about everything except what's really going on.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah.
It's touch on, because they're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared. For you to live in public housing and you're not getting your services, the needs met, and you're scared to speak up because you have Section A on the FSS and these different programs, and you're scared that they're going to retaliate against you, and you paying your rent, that's a damn problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Excellent point.
We just don't fight for it, Connor. We just don't. And that's just the complacency that is found with people, especially the born charlatans. Yeah. That causes that imbalance. Those that come and we know we get retaliated against because we know and we want to spew, that's not the way it's supposed to work. Yeah. Well, you Northerners want to come in, y'all want to take over. No. Learn from the people that know how to do it different.
Well, I would argue it's not that we want to take over. We've already taken over. So it's not, I mean, I'm sorry. So if you're watching this show, that was kind of a joke. But the reality is 70% of the people who live in Charlotte, all the tax money that's made this city great and the county great came from people who aren't from here. And so, we do have to value that. Listen, we're up against our first break. And when we come back, I want to ask you about what your thoughts are about what's going on in the national level. We're going to move it from the local and the county to the national level about the war in Ukraine. We'll be right back on the Tony Forman Show.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the Tony Forman Show, the new Tony Forman Show. You can catch us on your favorite audio podcast or video podcast platform every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time. That's when we drop. So once again, thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your Cannis Media Network.
As always, thank you all for listening, but most of all, it's Black History Month. It's February. And I really implore you to support the nonprofits and local businesses owned by Black entrepreneurs. Backbone of our economy, small business in America, especially local businesses you should support, but especially this month, go seek out Black entrepreneurs, small business people, Black professionals, that sort of thing, and just, I don't know, make an extra effort. Instead of clicking on Amazon, just go by that local shop, check out their websites, and really be involved with your neighbors. If we don't take care of our neighbors can't take care of us. So, important reminder, love you all, and celebrate Black History Month with us here. Hey, let's celebrate Black History Month in February together. We're stronger together. Bye, y'all.
Happy Black History Month, y'all.
Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the Tony Forman Show. I also want to remind you that our anchor show, Coffee and Pandusce, with Jenny and I, drops every Wednesday. Right, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things. We got some new exciting shows coming to you this year with Cannis Media, and we want to definitely promote this. We got Tony Forman and another host, and exciting new looks at especially the Latinx Hispanic community. They're very relevant to that, just like coffee originally was. And tune in, check them out. It won't hurt, and see what you think. Give us some feedback.
All right, so continue to enjoy the Tony Forman Show, but also jump over and watch Jenny's show on Two Queers in a Truck, and also our show, Coffee and Pandusce. Bye, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Bye, y'all.
Well, welcome back, everyone. So, listen, I want to thank everyone who's still watching us, and we're going to switch gears to the federal level, Tony. At the federal level, Trump is trying to now negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine after promising it would be done on day one. Do you remember? He said on day one, and we're I don't know, almost a month into his presidency. He just, as we tape this morning or today, Wednesday, he said on his social media that the president of Ukraine was acting like a dictator, and I think he got his feelings hurt because the president of Ukraine had said that Trump was spewing Russian propaganda, because Trump yesterday had said that Ukraine was to blame for the war. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you got time?
We do. You got 5 minutes on this segment.
Therein lies a problem. What do I mean? People have forgotten that in Trump's first presidency, there was money that was earmarked, voted on by Congress, to go to Ukraine. You remember when he asked Zelensky to do an investigation on who?
On Biden, yep.
And he didn't do it. And what happened to the money that was supposed to go to Ukraine? He stopped it. Do you remember that now he's talking about revenge? Well, the revenge for Zelensky is he had a meeting whereby he wasn't invited.
Yeah.
And it was with Marco Rubio, whatever his name is.
Yep.
And
the Russian guy.
We'll call it, yeah. And Zelensky wasn't invited. And Zelensky is right. Why am I going to support something that I'm not invited to? Decisions are being made. And the thing is that the whole trajectory is to try to get the president of Russia, Putin, to take over Ukraine. Anybody that cannot read between those lines, come on. He shouldn't have started the war. He didn't start the war. Ukraine was invaded.
Exactly.
But remember, Connell, that when you tell the same lie over and over again, that's not insanity. That's you. Well, this insanity, the definition, but it's you trying to get people to believe your lie.
Sure.
And unfortunately, these Trump supporters, they swallow every lie that they know has been fact checked over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think it is a blatant, because it's public,
Sure.
attack on the Ukrainian people, like in Gaza with Israel, to take over their land.
Exactly.
You know, so
you know what? I was gonna mention this. What you said was interesting because I know you're very strategic in your thinking. You've got a political mind and you understand kind of what's going on. If you were a strategist for the Democratic Party, gosh knows we need some of those people to help us with messaging and things like that. This is something that could backfire with Trump with his own base, because Trump's entire message with MAGA is America first, it's not our business. So the Democrats should start messaging, why is Trump meeting with Putin and trying to create peace? We have problems in America. Eggs are expensive. You need to spend more time and stop criticizing someone else and worry about us here. And that is something that I sometimes that I think, like, as a party, the Democratic Party, as a strategist, we don't do that. We get distracted because there's so much going on. But Trump's whole base is about America first. Worry about America. We should be running ads saying, as eggs go up, Trump is worried about Putin. You know, we're supposed to be worried about America.
Guess what?
So let Europe do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what?
Yeah.
The questions remain to be asked, and there will not be an answer unless it was from Tony Forman.
Sure.
What America are you talking about?
Good point. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. That's an excellent point. Hey.
Because we're not included in America.
Yeah.
That's right. We were not included in the Constitution.
Yeah. That's right. Good point.
We got to be, once we're clear on that, then we get a better understanding of what it is that's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Look, several black politicians, Tim Scott being the number one. Nothing against him personally.
Yeah.
Okay? He's still my brother.
Sure.
And the congressman from
Florida,
and whatchamacallit, I know his name, Byron.
Yeah.
From Florida.
Yep.
Bust their chops.
Yeah.
Trying to convince black people why Trump was the man that we should be voting for.
Sure.
Look what they.
Yeah.
Don't even hear them mentioned.
He didn't even go to Tim Scott's wedding.
You get it? And the thing is, once we as a people, and I love all people, let me put that out there. I wasn't raised as a racist. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know that I was black when I first came to the United States. I didn't know any racist terms.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know any of that. But because I educated myself, because I heard certain things that just didn't sound right, and I'm still like that, I look it up.
Yeah.
I ask questions of some of the elders. And the thing is, I get to identify myself not by what people or who people think I am, but what I feel in my heart. Exactly. And in my heart, I identify as Afro. Not Afro-Latino, not Afro-American, not Afro, period.
Yeah.
My ancestors are from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
How do we know this? What do all of these white supremacists, including Latinos, what do they call us?
Mm-hmm.
It's a word that we cannot mention on this media outlet. And they can smile in your face. I'm gonna tell you something, man. They'll smile in your face, but when they're in the little groups, we are that name that we cannot mention, the N word.
That is true.
And that's just a fact. What's more disturbing is that I find that I have Latino friends that are talking to me, man, and you can't tell them they're Afro.
That's yeah.
Man. You know what? I seen something on Facebook, Cano, and this guy, Latino guy, was talking to two young ladies
Mm-hmm.
about do they consider themselves Latina?
Yeah.
Now, this is Dominican girls.
Mm-hmm.
This is a level of ignorance that they don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, we're Caribeñas. We're Caribbeans.
Mm-hmm.
You're Caribbean? And they're just a little bit lighter than me.
Mm-hmm.
They would not say that they're Afro-Latinas or Afro-Caribbean. But see, the problem is that when you get in those circles that you got these white supremacists,
Mm-hmm.
the Karens, they take a look at you and right away they give you a title.
Sure. No, exactly.
You know, and until we get to decipher all this code that is placed upon us, all the different categories that we're placed in, we're the only people. Italians are Italians, Jews are Jews, Russians are Russians, Germans are Germans.
Mm-hmm.
We're people of color.
Yeah.
And there are some historians, some people that I know that you can't say you're people of colors, you can't say you're black. And we ourselves, we separate each other. We cause it on ourselves.
Sure.
I remember when I was younger and growing up and learning, kind of, remember the word Negro, it was a bunch of words. I don't want to really mention them. But I was like, so what the hell am I? Because when you're growing up, you're very inquisitive.
Sure.
And Eric Erickson's 14 steps, I believe it is, of human development, the sixth step has to do with identity. And when you're going, it's good reaching puberty. When you're growing up and you're like that, and you have all these different titles that it's given to people that look like you become very confused. You become very confused. And then until somebody steps up to you, like it happened to me, you remain confused. And then, do you really have an identity? Only by name. Only by name. You're Cano, I'm Foreman. Only by name. But in terms of culture and all these other things, you have an identity. Not when you're melanated. You
Sure.
just don't.
Mm-hmm.
You can say I'm melanated.
Mm-hmm.
I personally identify as Afro. Period.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother's parents were slaves. My grandmother knew that she was black, or she was Afro rather.
Sure.
And we were raised with that attitude. You're not white, so don't even make the mistake of doing what a lot of Latinos do, the darkest carbon, and they put on the passport application that they're white.
Yeah, that's a good point. We could do a whole show on that, actually. So listen, we're going to go to our last segment. We only have just a couple of minutes left, but the last segment, I do want to ask you about what your thoughts are about Elon Musk President Musk, I like to call him,
Yes.
Co-President Musk, and some of the cuts that he's trying to do around the country. So we'll be right back on the Tony Forman Show right after this.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your favorite audio or video podcast platform. Every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time it will drop. So once again, thank everyone for watching the new Tony Forman Show, brought to you on your Cannis Media Network.
Hey everyone, we really hope that you're enjoying the Tony Forman Show, which is one of our additional shows for the 2025 upcoming season. It's part of our bigger family of shows that you've listened to over the years in the Cannis Media system. But most of all, hope you can check out Two Queers in a Truck. It's one of our longest running shows, and he is 6 seasons long. And we would love for you to come over, and we talk about real world stuff, a lot of LGBT stuff, obviously, if it's Two Queers in a Truck, and a lot of other things going on in pop culture. And we try to make most episodes funny. So we'll come over there and see if we actually are doing what we said we were going to do, which is being late breaking and timely. So again, enjoy 2025, and we appreciate you listening to the Tony Forman Show.
Welcome back, everyone. So Tony, we're going to stay on the federal level again. And once again, we do want to thank everyone who's watching and listening to us on the Tony Forman Show. Tony, what are your thoughts about all the cuts that are going around? A lot of people are nervous. A lot of people are scared. Any thoughts on that?
Well, I'll start with the word chaos. And I always draw the reference to a magician. Sleight of the hand. When people are in chaos, or when you cause chaos amongst the people, everybody is discombobulated, and you're going crazy, and you're worrying about the cuts, and you're doing this and doing that. And like a magician with the sleight of the hand, those that cause the chaos are doing something else that you're not paying attention to. What am I talking about? Elon Musk has, from what my former boss and I were talking about, he says, I heard 15, but he quoted $18 billion of contracts with the U.S. government. Some of those contracts, some of those business ventures that he has have been challenged by certain agencies. USA is one of them that had a case against him. The agency ACA something, AFC some that does the investigation against fraud.
Yep.
Was investigating him.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Trump was also being investigated by some of these agencies that they trying to show.
Sure.
When you think on a critical level, you examine all those things. Because who the hell is going to go against Congress and get rid of certain programs that were voted in by Congress?
Sure. Executive
orders?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all being done at the same time. So everybody is like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. Oh my God, I got the workers on the farm. Oh my God. And while you're doing that, you're snatching a little bit at a time.
Sure.
And some people get so discombobulated, they don't think properly.
Mm-hmm.
We still have a U.S. Constitution.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not for violence, but I am a proponent of protesting. Everybody needs to get up off their ass when they get a little warmer, and everybody go to Washington. There will be no work conducted on the streets of Washington because the whole United States is going to be over there.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens then.
It does. Yeah. It does seem, and you brought up something, and I know we've gone over a little bit, but it does seem very interesting that if you think you're right, it's like it's a con man's distraction type of thing. Exactly kind of what you're talking about. We're dealing with two con men. Trump is an infamous showman con man. Elon Musk is a showman. He always overpromises when he promises for Tesla, we're going to have flying cars next year, maybe next year, maybe next year. He always promises. He said that they cut $8 billion of contracts. Turns out it was only $8 million of contracts. But by the time you see it 2 days later, people forget that he said, Trump said about Ukraine, America has given Ukraine $356 billion. It's half of that. And it's the same amount that Europe gave them. So they're showmen. They're showmen. The reason it seems like the MAGA Republicans, or at least the Republicans in Congress, have not been outraged, even though this is completely unconstitutional, is because they would rather Trump and Musk do the dirty work than them themselves cut the programs. Because then they would be... Yes.
Deniability.
Because the only one that can really cut this is Congress. They're the ones that fund it. But they don't want to do it. They'd rather him do it, have it tie up in courts than that. So, I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts. I mean, but you and I, that's just like logical. I mean, I don't understand why people can't see that.
You know what's funny about that? That is being done right before our eyes.
Exactly.
Hiding it. But we're so used to being used.
Sure.
And some of us still think that this man is doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. What's going on? This is a young lady. You may know her, but I don't want to call her out on. But she was a Democrat, and she's a Republican.
Yep.
And she's defending what's going on. And according to Musk, there was this. All of this expenditure with the Department of Education. And another thing, they make all these claims, but they're not showing any proof.
Exactly. They're not showing the receipts.
They're not showing receipts.
They're not showing any receipts.
Okay?
Just believe me. Take my word. Take my word for it.
and the dummies, they're falling for it. Now,
exactly.
In the interim, teachers cannot teach African American history.
Sure.
In many states, you cannot teach it. You could go to jail.
Yeah.
The libraries are being what's the purge?
Yeah.
Purge.
Yeah.
The books that have to do with African American, Latino history and stuff like that. He's coming after independent organizations now.
Mm-hmm.
If that's not a dictatorship,
sure,
I don't know what is.
Exactly.
And it's happening right before our eyes. It's part of Project 2025.
You know what's also being held? What's also being hidden and not talked about is Trump has only been in office a month. When you watch this show, it'll be 26 days, I guess. Mm-hmm. He has been golfing 25% of the time he has been in office. Imagine any American who and this happened the first time. No one seems to be outraged that he's only been in office for 1 month and he has been golfing 10 days out of the month. That's like getting a job and going, oh, by the way, I need a couple of months off to go to Europe.
I want to, something that you touched on before in terms of Democrats, I want to give a shout out to the Congresswoman from Texas, Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, yeah. She's incredible.
For a young woman, Connell, she's got this vigor, this energy, this connectability to people. Yeah. Remember when AOC first came on, and I knew she was from New York, and she was strong. She hasn't been silent. She speaks up. She's a little more conservative as to what she be saying, because they were coming for her. But I admire Jasmine Crockett for having the particular fortitude to speak up and speak out.
Yeah.
Auntie Maxine it's still like that and still has a voice.
Sure.
And I say that, I mentioned 3 women. Where the hell are the men?
Exactly. So
Where are the men?
hey, I know we're going over, and I apologize for taking over your show, but
No.
I thought it was I thought it was so funny. You know what's his name, Fetterman, the senator from the senator from Pennsylvania, right? He was asked. Yeah. Okay. So now he's trying to he's almost trying to be like Manchin now. The guy that left out of West Virginia or wherever he is, Virginia. Kentucky. I don't know where the heck. Anyway, West Virginia. Yeah. So he was asked by Fox News, do you think the Democratic Party will ever be able to win the white man vote again? And he said, we've lost them forever. I listened to that, and I almost wanted to, and I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't know if the stroke has impacted his brain. He is a white man, and he's a senator, and he's a Democrat. Biden was a white man. He's a senator and a president. We have a lot of white men. We have a white man, a white man governor here in Texas. We have, as a matter of fact, white men still have a lot of the high positions in the Democratic Party. We have a white man county chairperson. So for him to say we have lost the white man when it's filled with white men, it's like, which white man are you talking about? He's talking about, what America are you do you live in? I mean, I just thought it was, it was so, first of all, as if though he represents all white men, because he doesn't. Yeah. But I thought it was like, I didn't know what the next question was, but aren't you white? And you're the Democratic Party. So anyway, I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah. Listen, if not next Wednesday, coming soon, a newly elected commissioner, Yvette Thompson Ingram, will be on the show.
Wonderful.
We'll discuss that after.
Sure.
But the congressman, my former boss, offered to come on the show.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot of great guests to come on, and I'm sorry that if you joined us today on Tony's 4th show and you expected just to hear from Tony, I apologize. I took over his show. Write the messages to me. You'll hear more of Tony. So stay with us for the next Tony Forman show. We'll have a lot of guests coming on, from county commissioners to precinct chairs to former Congress people to all kinds of people. So Tony, any last words you want to tell your viewers and listeners before we end the show?
Yeah. First of all, stay woke. Do not listen to the rhetoric, woke mentality. If you didn't wake up, we'll still be in slavery. Okay? If you're confused about who you are, study your history. If you look like me, you are Afro. Anyone that tells you different, they're confused. Michael Jackson had a song that says, "Man in the mirror." All you gotta look is in the mirror, and you'll see that you're not white. And remember, white supremacy is real. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye, y'all. See you next week.
Hello, everyone. This is the one and only Tony Forman from the Tony Forman Show. I want to thank each and every one of my viewers. It's a pleasure for you to let me into your homes, through your computer, through your cell phone, through your tablet. We like to have meaning conversation. It's about educating the people. As you well know, I'm not opinionated. I just speak facts. And if you think that I'm not speaking facts, just write in and we can talk about it. If you have a concern that you think we need to talk about on the show, write the producer. Kishin Kano, the link would be on the show, and it's just a pleasure to be here with you. It gives me so much pleasure to talk to people that are listening, because if you're still with me, you're listening. You just don't hear me. You're listening, and that's important. Let's stay woke. Let's stay woke. And let's make sure that we take it to the street if it's necessary. No violence, just intellectual protesting. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.
Tony educated his people.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my world. And we'll see you next week for the show.
Good job, Tony. All right, we went way over, but that's okay. We're going to do 5 minutes and 5 minutes. We're going to come back and I'll ask you about what your thoughts are about what's going on with the Ukraine and what maybe Trump said and whatever. Here we go. Good job, Tony. We only have we've gone over, so we'll just keep the last segment. I'll just come out and ask you what your thoughts are about some of the cuts that Trump is trying to do with, I think, Department of Education. I think he wants to cut the IRS too. A lot of people from the IRS. I mean, all of them. The only one they have not touched it is the Department of Defense. And ironically, Steve Bannon wants that cut. So and I think that would be great. Anyway, all right, here we go.